On the Golden Globes, a lot of time you are politically incorrect and hilarious, of course.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Die soon.
Yeah.
So I'm offended. I'm going to die. So what? You know. So
you made enough money at this point.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right.
Did you know Ricky Gervais once made an interviewer so uncomfortable they tried to end the segment early? It happened on a live broadcast, and the host wasn't ready for Ricky's comebacks. The interviewer kept pushing, thinking they'd catch Ricky off guard, but with each question, Gervais hit back harder. By the end, the host was stumbling over their words, and the crew was trying not to laugh on camera. Want to see how it went down? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. As Ricky Gervais stepped onto The View's set, the tension was palpable. The hosts were visibly on edge, knowing full well they were about to face off against one of comedy's sharpest minds.
When I was in England trying to do stand-up there, you can't say anything about the Queen. They have a fit, and they won't laugh. Is that true when you do it?
No. You know, I'm going to give that to animals anyway, just to see that look on my stupid family's face. You know, they're a sort of government body, so they fear complaints, but live, no, anything, it's just, no.
Joy Behar, never one to back down from a challenge, decided to take the bull by the horns. She thought she'd corner Ricky about his so-called politically incorrect humor. Joy brought up Ricky's infamous Golden Globes jokes, fully expecting him to backpedal or offer some kind of apology. But Ricky Gervais isn't known for backing down, and he wasn't about to start now. Without missing a beat, he fired back with a zinger that left Joy speechless. Just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right.
On the Golden Globes, a lot of time you are politically incorrect and hilarious, of course.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Die soon.
Yeah.
So I'm offended. I'm going to die. So what? You know. So
you made enough money at this point.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right.
The audience, usually quick with their reactions, went dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop in that studio. Joy's face turned a shade of red that would make a tomato jealous. But Ricky wasn't done. He was just getting warmed up. Seeing that he had the upper hand, Ricky decided to drive his point home. He continued, "You can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing." The audience, still in shock, didn't know whether to laugh or gasp. Joy, meanwhile, was probably wishing she could disappear into her chair.
Offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? And I've reached the age now where I don't care anymore. Egos in the room. I'm doing it for the 200 million people watching around who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires, and who
don't care.
It was clear that Joy had severely underestimated her opponent. She'd tried to put Ricky on the defensive, but he'd flipped the script on her faster than you can say Golden Globes. The other hosts of The View watched on, a mix of horror and fascination on their faces. They were witnessing a masterclass in quick wit, and they were on the wrong side of it.
You know, so you can't second-guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos like that, because I do like confronting that, because I think it takes the audience to a place it hasn't been before. And it can be a mutual backslapping difference, so...
But this year you didn't host, and do you miss the fact that this was the Weinstein year?
Oh, I was salivating.
As the interview continued, it became increasingly clear that challenging Ricky Gervais with loaded questions was like trying to outswim a shark. Every attempt to corner him was met with a sharper, funnier comeback. The host's confidence was crumbling with each passing minute, while Ricky seemed to be having the time of his life.
Honestly, I got an adrenaline rush thinking of, you know, what I could say and whether I'd have to go to jail. And sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that, but... You know, you can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing. So, but you know, I like that opportunity, because I do like that, you know, when there's a tension, when there's an elephant in the room.
By the end of the segment, The View's hosts had learned a valuable lesson. Don't mess with Ricky Gervais' comedy. They'd gone into the interview thinking they could catch him off guard or make him apologize for his brand of humor. Instead, they'd been the ones caught flat-footed, scrambling to keep up with Ricky's rapid-fire wit. Conan O'Brien thought he was ready for Ricky Gervais. He'd seen what happened on The View and figured he could handle some playful banter. boy was he wrong. As soon as Ricky walked onto the set, it was clear Conan was in for a wild ride. Right off the bat, Ricky hit Conan where it hurt. He didn't waste time with pleasantries, instead going straight for the jugular. The studio was easier to find than the channel on the TV, Ricky quipped. Ouch! Conan tried to laugh it off, but you could see the panic in his eyes. He knew he was in trouble, but Ricky was just getting started. He decided to list all the channels you have to flip through to find Conan's show. You go through costume jewelry, eyebrow plucking, and then eventually you find Bin Laden's got a chat show just before yours. The audience lost it. Conan's laugh became more forced with each jab. He tried to recover, but it was like watching a kitten try to take on a lion. Ricky kept piling on, not giving Conan a second to catch his breath. He started listing all the talk show hosts he'd rather do a show with.
Just the crew. Me, Leno, obviously, brilliant. With showrunners,
with talk show hosts.
Yeah.
You should do one with talk show hosts.
Yeah, I was thinking of David Letterman.
Yeah,
King,
yeah.
And Jon Stewart. It was just.
Jay Leno, David Letterman, Jon Stewart. The list went on and on. Each name was another nail in Conan's coffin. The audience was loving it, which only made things worse for poor Conan. He was trying to keep up, but it was like he'd brought a butter knife to a gunfight. The whole interview was a masterclass in comedic dominance. Ricky had turned the tables so completely that Conan didn't know which way was up. Every time Conan thought he had an opening, Ricky would shut him down with another zinger. It was like watching a chess grandmaster toy with a beginner. Behind the scenes, word got out that Conan had been bracing himself for Ricky's sharp comebacks, but knowing a tornado is coming doesn't make it any less destructive when it hits. Conan's forced laughter and desperate attempts to keep up only highlighted how outmatched he was in this comedic exchange. Viewers at home couldn't get enough. Social media lit up with praise for Ricky's quick wit and ability to handle any situation thrown his way. People loved seeing the usually confident Conan scrambling to keep up. It was a reminder that even the big names in comedy can get taken down a peg. Ricky Gervais has become the ultimate nightmare for interviewers. His razor-sharp wit and lightning-fast comebacks have left many hosts scrambling to keep up. It's no wonder that some TV producers now prep their interviewers differently when Gervais is on the guest list. They know the usual playbook won't cut it against this comedy heavyweight. Next time you catch Gervais on a talk show, watch the host's face closely. You might spot a hint of panic in their eyes or a nervous twitch of the mouth. Sure, they're smiling and nodding along, but inside they're probably thinking, oh God, what's he gonna say next? It's like watching a tightrope walker perform without a net. Thrilling for us, terrifying for them. Gervais has proven time and time again that he's the king of comebacks. He doesn't just answer questions, he turns them into comedic gold. Hosts who try to corner him often end up looking foolish themselves. It's a masterclass in quick thinking and verbal judo that leaves audiences in stitches and interviewers questioning their life choices.